Triads. You don't have to get too fancy. You don't need to be finger picking and doing anything like that. You can use these things as simply as you like or as complex as you can try and make them. Really up to you. I've just had too much coffee. Before we get into the lesson, I really have to thank Judas and Paul D'Agostino for joining the Patreon. I've also got to do a quick shout out to Vicky and Al. Al sent us a blanket that Vicky knitted his wife, so we really appreciate it. It was for our son Marlo. Can't thank you enough. Thanks Al, thanks Vicky, and thanks to all my fans for the support. And yeah, it's been really great. It's still growing. Check out the Patreon if you're not a member. The notes for today's lesson will be there. So what's today's lesson on? It's on the triads I just mentioned before. We're going to be doing two things. One, I'm going to be walking you through the triads in the key of E and A in their standard form, and we're also going to do a mixolydian form, which is kind of more true to a rockabilly vibe. Okay, I'll explain that a little bit better later on. It's not going to be the hardest lesson, but if you want a little bit more background theoretically, check out the chord scale lesson that I've put in the link. It's an old one, but it will be very helpful for this lesson. You'll kind of get a bit more background, although I'll give you a tiny bit anyhow. So this is what we're going to be learning. So that's from E, and then from A. Okay, had to think about that a little bit. So there are our two standard forms. So let me explain both of those, and I'll just show you the chords that we're using there. So we're coming off an E chord like this, all right, and then we're basically using the edges of a standard chord scale, which I teach in the other lesson. Okay, but we're not going to be using the whole bottom end. Sometimes we want that twangy top end, especially with rockabilly, psychobilly, even in jazz stuff. You can get really nice ideas with these sort of concepts. A triad is simply based on the first degree, third degree, and fifth degree of any given scale. So we're playing G sharp, B, and E, and think of it this way: the E is our first degree, G sharp is our third degree of an E major, and B is our fifth degree. So you can see we have the notes there from a basic triad. They're just a little bit out of order. We move up one, we're doing an F sharp minor, so we've got the F sharp here, we've got the A, which is a flat third, and we've got a C sharp. So we're staying in the key of E, but you can see by beginning from these different root notes and sticking with the key of E, we get a different quality of chord. Okay, so F sharp, A, C sharp, F sharp minor. Then we get G sharp minor, so we've got G sharp here, B, D sharp. And then we've got A major, A, C sharp, and E. Okay, and I'm just flattening my first finger. If you have trouble barring notes like that, make sure you're up nice and close to the fret. Lean back a tiny bit as well. And hey, if you've have a real hard time with that, you could always use two fingers. Okay, it's not the end of the world. Don't have to be perfect as long as it sounds okay. So that's the A. Then we go up to a B. We've got a B, D sharp, and an F sharp. And then we've got a C sharp minor, C sharp, E, and G sharp. And you can start to hear as soon as we hit that third whether it's going to be a major, like a happy sound, or a minor sound with that one. This last one, though, is a D sharp flat 5. So we've got the D sharp, we've got the third here, which is an F sharp. Okay, so that's a minor third interval. But then our fifth degree, which for all the other ones has ended up being right there, we have to flatten it to stay in the key of E. So that is a D sharp flat 5. Okay, often we would think of it as a D sharp minor 7 flat 5 when we play a more full chord. Have a few more notes. We don't have it there. We're just going to call it a D minor flat 5. Okay, and then we're back to E. Whammy bar optional, always optional. Slightly mandatory. So now we're playing the key of A. Okay, we're going to go from A and we're going to think from the key of A here. So we're going to go. This time it's a little more linear. We've got the A, the C sharp, and the E. Just out of an open chord like that. Then we move to a B minor, B, D, F sharp. Then we go to a C sharp minor, C sharp, E, G sharp. So that's what a minor third looks like from the third string to the second string. On every other string, it would actually look like this. So C sharp here, C sharp and E, C sharp and E. So you can see the relationship changes on the second string. But these are really nice to play. So A, B minor, C sharp minor. We've got D major, D, F sharp, A. Now you can see the difference. That's a major third. Then we've got an E major. Okay, so we've got an E, G sharp, and a B. And then we have F sharp minor, F sharp, A, and C sharp. And then we have a G sharp half diminished, or minor, sorry, a G sharp minor flat 5. So G sharp, B, and D. Because a regular 5 with a G sharp would actually be a D sharp. And then we're back to A. Okay, so these are really sweet sounding chords. If I did a similar thing to the intro, you can see it's really sweet. But the rockabilly vibe, we get that flat 7. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7. And then we want to do the same thing from the A. Flat 7. So they're not actually, it's basically a major scale with an alteration, but it coincidentally happens to borrow the exact same notes as the key that is a fourth up. I know this is really confusing, but what I mean is if we're in the key of E, and we use a D natural, that actually ends up using the exact same notes as A major. So if you happen to know your major scales, you can borrow the whole fretboard from a fourth up, if that makes sense. So key of E, we can just think in the key of A. Oh. I'm actually just thinking sort of like fretboard in A, but ultimately it's probably even easier to just think I'm in the key of E and I'm just flattening that 7th note. So instead of that one, and then all your licks with the whole other things I've covered in other lessons. I'm not going to get too far away. So yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk you through, sorry for that tangent, I'm going to walk you through those same chord progressions, but with the flat 7. So we're going to do G sharp, then we go to F sharp minor, but then instead, we're actually going to play, it's essentially a G half diminished, or a G minor flat 5. As I mentioned, we saw that in the key of A. So you can see how we're borrowing that now. In this scenario here, though, it really just looks like an E dominant 7. It'd be like a D7, an E7. So that's kind of cool. But anyhow, we keep moving along. So that's a G sharp minor flat 5. A, same as before. This time we use a B minor. Then we use a C sharp minor. And then we play a D major. So you would have seen the little run that I do in the intro. It was actually technically a run in the key of A, but over E, and that is E mixolydian, or we just think of it as an E mixolydian, E rockabilly sound. Okay. From A, that's going to look like this. So we go A, C sharp, E. Then we're going to do instead of a B, we're going to do a B minor. We're always going to do a B minor. Not sure what I was about to say. B minor, just like that. And then we do a C sharp flat 5, okay, because we're using the G now in A instead of the G sharp. Then we come up to a D, no problems, E minor. Then we come up to an F sharp minor, no problems, nothing different here. But then we use a G major, and then we're back to A there. I could have fun with that all day, as you can see. It's cool stuff. And when you get that vibe going, even if it feels unnatural to begin with, work it till it sounds right. And if you if it doesn't sound right, come back to it. Play around with it, come back to it. You may not be able to hear it in your head. The biggest piece of advice I can give any of you, if you can hear it in your head, If something clicks and you can hear that idea working for you, you've got it. In fact, if you can hear an idea and you don't understand it, even better, that's fine. It doesn't have to meet any rules. I love the theory, you guys know that, but I wouldn't hold any of you to it. Learn it because you're interested, understand what you're playing. It all helps, it all enriches the experience, in my opinion. But anyone who says it limits you, that's just the wrong perspective. So the last thing would be, I guess, how to use it, really. So if you can think of it like single lines. Okay, I'm going to play in E, and I'm going to do something like... And we can just add the entire triads to that. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't, but... It all works. It all kind of works. It works really well when it's on the higher strings because there's space between the lower notes and the higher notes, and it won't clash as bad. That might not work too well if we tried to do it in a low sense, like if we went something like... I did things a little different there, but that's going to be hard work. But as we get higher up... works, okay? You can get away with a lot more. So it's really about using any of them you like in an experimental way. You will find some work easier than others. Again, I'll go from A. So from A, you could practice the whole scale. You could, I changed actually out of that spot, but back to E. So I don't really want to give you guys like a specific do this or do that. I kind of just want to show you, and you guys probably notice that's how I like to teach. Here's everything. This is something I did at the start here. You go do your thing. So guys, let me know what you think. Do you have any questions? Next lesson's going to be on dominant seventh versions of these. We're going to turn them into 4-note chords. That gets interesting, okay? Anyway, stick around for that lesson. I'll see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed that. Check out the Patreon, leave a comment, subscribe, all those things. See you later.